Good morning. Today I would like us to divert slightly away from our study and just draw your attention back to certain things that we have said. I've entitled my study today Cosmic War, and I want you to always bear this in mind as we look at things such as the little horn, etc. In Revelation chapter 12 verse 7 and 9 we are introduced to the two main parties that make up this war. It says there, and there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. So the two parties in this warfare is Michael and his angels, and the dragon and his angels. In verse 9 we are told a little bit more about this dragon. It says the dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. So we see that the characteristics of this person is revealed in many ways. The dragon, who actual fact is the devil, who actual fact is Satan, is the person that is in warfare or in contention against Michael. The word Michael in the Hebrew means who is like God. So in some sense we find out that this war is between God and the devil. I want you to remember how that we saw in Isaiah chapter 14, and I want to go there where we read about the devil and what he was planning to do. In Isaiah chapter 14 it said there, "How you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn." Now in Ezekiel we are told that this morning star in actual fact was a covering cherub. He was an angel. So we see here that this angel and his followers fought against this person who is an angel but represents God, and these angels fought against these angels. So we see here how you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. We read that in Revelation, how that he was cast down to the earth. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. You will recall how that we found out that stars symbolize angels. So he didn't just want to be any old angel. He wanted to be raised above them. In actual fact, he wanted to take the place of Michael, who was the chief of all the angels. He wanted Michael's position. He coveted Michael's position. So we start off here that he was at first not contented to be just a person underneath Michael, but he wanted to be equal with Michael. But God made it very clear, and if you read this in Hebrews chapter 1, that God said, Michael is not any old angel, he's my son, but you are a created being. Why this is so important is I want you to understand that we're talking about a devil who was like other devils, but what made him different was he coveted a position which was not his. I want you to really take note of this. Now in Daniel chapter 7 verse 24 and 25 we are introduced to this little horn, and in verse 24 we are told that he is different. Now recall that he is first of all identified as a horn. So at first glance when we look at him, he looks like all other kingdoms. At first glance when we looked at the devil, he looked like all the others. So what made him different? And that is that this kingdom wanted to claim the attributes or possessions that only God was entitled to hold. He wanted to be in the position of Michael. But when he found that he was defeated by Michael, he then moved his focus from being like Michael to being like God. Here we see that this kingdom isn't content with just being a kingdom. It wanted to be a kingdom that would rule the world, not only from a civil point of view, but from a religious point of view. It's also very interesting that in this story about this kingdom, we are seeing that it says there, and I want you to notice this, he will subdue 3 kings. Now remember, this little horn rises up where there are 10 horns, and he subdues 3 of them. Very interesting. 3 of 10 is almost a third. So what it means is that this little horn actually gets 3 other kingdoms to fall under its power. I want you to notice what happens in Revelation when we look at this cosmic war. In Revelation chapter 12, we are told that the dragon, in verse 4, with his tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. So his influence was of such a nature that he got a third of the angels to fall with him. And we see how that this little horn subdues 3 kings to be like him, to worship him. And I want you to understand, so what we're really looking at when we look at this little horn is we're looking at a common factor, a angel who doesn't want to just be an angel. He wanted to be like Michael, the archangel, but then in the end he didn't want to just be like Michael, the archangel. He wanted to be like God. That's what we found out. It said there in Isaiah chapter 14. It says further in verse 14, I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. So he wasn't contented with the position he had that was given to him by God. He wanted to be Michael, and then he wanted to be like God. And here we see that this little horn, as we look at it, it has the attributes of the devil. And what makes it different is that it exercises the civil and spiritual power to dominate, to receive worship, and to give laws. It places itself in the position of God. So this is very clear, and I wanted you to see this as we approach this little horn again. I want to end off by saying that we noticed that this little horn, what it does in verse 25 of Daniel chapter 7, it says there, he will speak against the Most High and oppress his saints and try to change the set times and the laws. Now yesterday we discovered what it meant to change set times, and tomorrow I will be talking what it means to change the set laws. But what is really going on is that there is this appeal to mankind. Worship God or worship the devil. Both are wanting worship. You choose. That is what the Elijah message is all about. Elijah said, how long will you be of 2 opinions? If God, the God of Israel, is God, then worship him, follow him. But if it is Baal, then worship him, follow him. So we're going to see very clearly that we are brought into this cosmic war, and we have to choose a side. Which side are you going to choose?